Good evening, and thank you for joining me on Connect with Jacob Brier. I'm Jacob Brier, and I appreciate that you have taken the time to connect with me. I'm a member of the Barrington Town Council, and I'm broadcasting live from my home office to take an opportunity to cross this boundary of social distance and physical distance that we all have. Take an opportunity a couple times a week to share my thoughts and feelings about what's going on. Tonight I wanted to share some of my personal struggles that I've been dealing with, that my family's been dealing with over the past month or so. In 2 days it will mark 1 month since Barrington declared state of emergency. Tomorrow is a month since the governor declared Rhode Island to be in a state of emergency. Before I get into that, and before I share some of my perspective, I did have an update that I received from the Rhode Island mask makers, and they have some information I'm going to put up on the screen, and I will share the information here. It's an update on Rhode Island mask makers, a nonprofit initiative that came out of the Barrington Community Action Team. They're donating filtering masks to healthcare providers. Their Providence model masks force you to breathe through a filter in a pocket inside the mask. They're working with Brown University's clean room for sterilization before donation to healthcare providers. Amongst other recipients, 100 of their masks went to the Rhode Island Blood Center. The techs there will be processing antibody donors for the preparation of serum transfusions once that work begins. They need volunteer makers, donated fabric, loaned and gifted sewing machines, and they're actually employing sewers who need income, who are out of work as a result of all of the business closures. If you can help, please reach out. And they want to give a shout out to Plant City Providence and thank them for the donation. And they want to give a shout out to the Rhode Island mask makers supplier, Yvonne Weiss of Knit One Quilt 2 in Barrington, and to mask makers from Barrington, Prudence Island, Lincoln, Pawtucket, North Kingstown, Arkansas, and even Mexico. All those makers are using the Providence model template to make better and safer masks. And actually my family and I wear these masks. They were made here in Barrington. For every mask that Rhode Island Mask Makers sells, they donate one to a healthcare provider. And I just want to add that if you have news that you would like to help get out, if you have any information that you want to share with me, please, I'll put my website back up here. I forgot to do that. But my website for this is jacobbrier.com/connect. And that can be, you can use that to send comments to me, ask any questions, and I'll do my best to get back to you as the episodes go on, as the live streams go on. And so what I wanted to talk about tonight are the struggles that I've gone through here over the past month, adapting to this current way of life, with physical distancing, staying home, stores being closed, working from home, things of that nature. The first is a daily, and that's putting a long spin on it. It's really a struggle every few minutes, eating, cooking, and snacking. And what I've struggled with is I learned late in life about myself that I really love cooking. I love cooking for my family. Mostly my wife, my son, chooses to eat different things or chooses not to eat what we're eating, and that's fine. But we, over the past year and a half, we've sat down to far more dinners than we had in the years before because I've been cooking for us and really enjoy it. But now with changes at the supermarket and so much time at home, it feels different. It's no longer exciting. It feels very monotonous, and I'm trying to kind of push through that, trying to think of new recipes. Please send any my way. We eat a primarily plant-based diet, which does help for some creativity, but it is also a bit limiting at times. It's also a struggle during this period. And being home all the time, I've been snacking quite a bit. And I haven't been doing what I can to exercise, and it is critical now. It's really something that I need to focus on is because I'm spending so much time at home, not out and about quite as much. It's even more time on the couch, more time not getting the physical exercise that I need and moving around. I need to focus more on that. I need to buckle down and eat a bit better, but that's been an everyday struggle. It's also challenging to find quiet time, to find alone or just quality time with my wife. Being all home together is lovely most of the time, and some of the time is difficult when there are periods we would like to go out for a date night, can't because there's nowhere to go, and also having folks in out of the house is not ideal. So that's its own struggle. It's also difficult to be with a partner, spending time together, knowing everything that's happening in the world, happening in the community, and it's just a very challenging time that I'm trying to work through. Working remotely is something that I have enjoyed about the company that I work at the whole time I've been there, which is 6.5, 7 years almost. We have a very flexible work from home policy. It's very easy. It's a software company, so we are able to pick right up whatever I was working on at the office one day, I can easily work on it at home the next day. But when it's done for an extended period, it feels different. And at work, we have a period a couple times a day. People will just jump into a video chat and just talk about whatever, the kind of things we might talk about around the lunch table or things like that. Socializing a bit, we spend a lot of time talking about this unique period that we're all going through. But that's something over an extended period of time that I wasn't prepared for. And it feels certainly different. It's extra work, extra energy to remain focused and disciplined on the work that I have to get done, and to not get distracted by, all being home together, by my son wanting to show me the most recent Lego invention, or to ask for help with his schoolwork, which is the other struggle that any parent with schools with children in the school system understand, the struggle with distance learning and helping your child or children, child in our case, stay focused, stay present, and stay engaged in school when they see that you're at home too, and all of their things are here, and they're working somewhere they're not used to working, and their classmates are on a screen instead of sitting next to them. It's a challenge, and this whole period it's a difficult period, and it's a scary period. It is confusing, and everything is weird. And it's important. I was speaking with a friend and other local Politico about the importance of being neighbors now, being neighborly, and that's really the perspective I'm trying to bring to this next phase of what we're all going through. Happy Easter to everybody who celebrates, and happy Passover to those who, like myself, celebrate Passover. The two holidays are both have messages, as most faith-based holidays do. They both have messages that help us look forward and get past where we are, and they're both derived from community. The story of Easter, and Easter is a time of rebirth, of hope, and it's a time when everything starts fresh and new. And Passover is similar in that it is the Jews leaving Egypt, leaving slavery, and in search of the Promised Land. And I don't know what lies on the other side of this virus and of this unique period of physical distancing, But I do know that if we travel together, we go farther, and if we travel together, the effort is easier and the result is better. And I was having a conversation online today with somebody, and it's really representative of many of the conversations I've had. He was saying that so much of all we're doing now to prevent the surges in the hospitals, to flatten the curve, that it's all the result of fear mongering, and that we are all just buying into a manipulation that the concerns about this aren't real. There's been an article has passed around on the interwebs about the gaslighting that might come on the other side of this, that we get through and we're told it was not such a big deal. And it's a similar concept to that. This feeling that fear is what is driving these decisions. And now I was trying to show this gentleman that whatever we do is based on a fear of sorts. That, yes, say we are reacting to the fear mongering, and that's why we're all staying home. To not do that would be reacting to fear of the economy, fear of being shut in, fear of businesses closing. And what's important, when we cannot control the scary situation that we are in, we can only control how we react to it. And to react in a way that puts livelihoods over lives, to me, is simply unacceptable. That we are responsible for one another. We are responsible to mitigate human suffering, to mitigate loss of life. And the work we are doing now, staying home, is really simple work when we think of it in that way. And that's what brings me to this idea of being neighborly, of doing this for one another. And we can be neighborly, we can be close without physical closeness. When my family and I are out walking, we see our neighbors, some people we have seen, some people we haven't seen in the past, and as we pass from a very safe distance, we smile. And it's a genuine smile. And now they're masked smiles, literally, but figuratively. Not figuratively, they are masked literally, and I can tell genuinely that they're big smiles, they're warm smiles. It's a nod to, I know what you're going through, you know what I'm going through, and we're going through this together. Now, there's also a lot of concern about non-compliance and what to do about it, and if you see big groups of people, how to react, and if you see cars arriving at your neighbor's house, what to do about it. I'm fortunate that I haven't been personally in the position to do it. I would like to think my reaction would be to safely speak with people and say, these aren't suggestions that we do certain things, that we not do certain things, that we keep our distance. It's really important in order to help our community, that these people you're spending your time with, you're putting them at risk, and they're all putting everybody they come into contact at risk. So it's not about wanting to deprive you of anything, it's wanting to ensure that those activities will remain in our future. And if that isn't successful, I don't know whether I end up calling the local dispatch or whether I don't. I'm glad that I haven't been in that situation, but I know so many people have been, and I just think it's important that we recognize we are only responsible, or we can only control our own actions and reactions. We can ask and encourage people to do what we believe to be the safe and the healthy thing and the considerate thing. But we shouldn't judge other people's decisions because we don't always know the situation. We could see people that we think are not practicing safe physical distancing, but they could in fact be a family. or they could be people who have been in this together. The governor said early on, if you kind of social distance together, that can be an okay way to get through it. And we don't know what the situation is. If you do know a situation, you still don't necessarily know what people bring to that, but it's important in the theme of being neighborly. It's important to speak with one another, to understand why people are doing what they're doing, and to accept that, again, we only control ourselves. A reason why it is critical that we take a positive attitude toward this, that we remain neighborly, that we remain a strong, tightly knit community that cares for one another and is interested in helping one another, is that I think we'll be doing this for a long time. Long is relative, and this quote unquote is also relative. The governor's executive order ends May 8th. I have a feeling, a gut feeling, that all, if or most of the orders will be extended at least for some number of weeks following, but that we will see hopefully by the end of May, a slow re-implementation, the kind of the on switch of the economy starting to come back on. I think we'll see some types of businesses be able to reopen with probably very different safety guidelines, lower capacity numbers, sanitation requirements, and things of that nature as we start to turn things back on and move forward again. But it's important that we remain vigilant, because that vigilance is how we allow ourselves to continue moving forward. This all happened suddenly and dramatically, but the immersion from it, I think, is going to be a slow, a steady, and a very undramatic resurgence, or a very undramatic climb out of this back to a new normal. I think for a while, the transition from where we are now to a new normal, that transition is going to be a new normal of sorts for a while. And I think by staying together and by taking the neighborly perspective, large and small neighbors, the people on your block, the people in your town, the people in your state, we're all neighbors, and we're all going to be transitioning together, and it's important that we stay together, figuratively together, of course. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to connect with Jacob Brier. I will be back on Wednesday evening at 8:45, and I hope you'll join me. Until then, stay home and stay healthy.